Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to be introduced by the Deputy Director General from the Commission. But if you all allow me, I'll say my final words in Portuguese. Caros amigos, há várias décadas que se discute a problemática.
Many decades ago, we've been developing the problem of rural development within the community space. Nevertheless, only recently have we given a meaningful step when we have come from an agricultural development model towards a rural development model and the sectorial model for an integrated development one. And when we have adopted this local development program, we have decided that the spaces where the future is still threatened by the domination of a gigantic urban and metropolitan growth, one has to find tools to reverse the situation, thus creating a social and economic basis which is broadened and from which the revitalization of villages will start. And this is how LEADER came into existence. In order for us not to go on seeing the rural world abandoned, we have adopted LEADER. But because the rural world, which yesterday was nothing but a reservoir of labor and which is now considered as a reservoir of landscape, leisure and tradition, still do not have a place in the production worldwide. So we need the LEADER approach to enter a new phase. Of course, a lot has yet been done, and since we have done things successfully, there is the reason why we have to do much and more. The local groups in Portugal have worked very well. The same applied to other European projects where lags existed. Now, allow me to address specific words to the Portuguese girls who have done a lot to implement LEADER in Portugal, and I hope that this work can be even more, and it can go on contributing for the future success of this initiative. And it is within this new rural development program, which will come from 2007 to 2013, that we will try to provide answers to major challenges of the society, not only for territorial integration, but because we want to revitalize economically and socially the rural environment. The conference, which is now coming to an end in Èvora, was very important for the future of LEADER program. First, because it happened in a crucial time. The end of the LEADER approach has a new and innovating approach and its full integration in a rural development policy. And secondly, because it has enabled to show the results and the added value produced by LEADER, be it within the field of planification and governance of rural and development programs, be it within the framework of valuing and development of rural activities in favor of improving the life of rural citizens. And third, because it has reinforced the bonds between the rural areas of the whole of the European area and the organizations which are part of the local lags, and it has also created favorable conditions to cooperation between territories and organizations of different countries. And fourthly, because it has once again enabled to see the diversification of the rural territories and possible solutions to carry out its development, and to reflect upon the legacy by LEADER in terms of governance and in terms of rural development policies, and of course the main possible way of transferring towards mainstreaming policies added value. The results of this conference are particularly important for the development and conclusion of the works carried out in Portugal. And let me refer to two aspects which I consider fundamental. The implementation of LEADER approach in rural development programs. The national strategy for rural development 2007-2013 will be brought into action through three programs, one from the Portuguese mainland, other for the island of Azores, and another for the autonomous region of Madeira. As you know, the first two were already approved by the European Commission. The application of LEADER approach will be guaranteed through local development plans drafted and proposed by local GALs, and also which will be implemented by the same who have considered it to be their field of intervention. The selection of LAGs, local development plans, will be made through public tendering, and this tendering is still under preparation, and it will be launched in the first month of the coming year in order to ensure the selection process until the end of the first quarter 2008. And the second aspect I'd like to highlight is the preparation of the program for the National Rural Network. And in conformity with Portuguese regulation, Portugal has decided to use a network which will enable the implementation of its program. And this is supposed to be concluded by the end of January in order for the Commission to approve and then start implementing it. And to summarize, the European Agricultural Fund for Rural Development will enable more and better efficiency in the funding of the LEADER program in order for the main goals to be achieved: increase of competitiveness of agriculture through the support to restructuration, development and innovation. Because we know without agriculture, or only with agriculture, there cannot be rural development. We do need agriculture, but we also need all the rest that LEADER has taught her to find.
Rural, através do apoio à gestão deste mesmo espaço.
Improvement of the environment and of the rural landscape and the diversification of economic activities. Now, all programs of rural development include a leader component with a view to apply local strategies descending from development. We all know that 5% for each program will be reserved for the leader initiative. 10% for Portugal, that is only having Spain receiving 12%. So this will encompass policies more adapted to innovation, which are solidarity but competitiveness, so that the rural world may stay alive, competitive, and with a capacity to continue to decide its own destiny. Thank you. And long live the leader approach.
We are at the end. When the Commissioner has sent me in her place, she has given me also the speech she wanted to give at the end of these 2 days. I take the freedom not to read all the speech. I can only tell you that she has really understood the needs, the risks, the challenges of LEADER. I just would like to read few sentences of what she has given to me. One sentence is the following: the particular anxiety in this case is that bringing LEADER into the mainstream will make it inflexible and snuff out the creativity which has been its hallmark so far. I really don't think that needs to happen. This is something. And then concerning the future, she says, we should keep developing the right conditions for LEADER-type projects to work well throughout the European Union. One of these conditions is a culture in which national and regional authorities are prepared to hand real responsibility to the local level. In some parts of the Union, this is almost second nature. In others, it may seem rather unnatural for the time being, but it must be done. Another condition is that training for LEADER-related work should be more widely available. In some member states, it's already possible to take formal qualification in local development. It would be nice to see opportunities like this become more commonplace. A third condition is that we pass around what we have learned. Experience is often worth its weight in gold. Overall, we have to strike a delicate balance. It is important that policies set at the European level encourage leaders to grow. On the other hand, we can't force that growth. I think we can strike that balance. I think LEADER has a bright future in rural development policy, and perhaps the LEADER method could have its part to play in other policy areas. It has already a role in fishery policy, and there has been interest from the perspective of regional policy. Of course, I'm not responsible for these policy areas, but in principle, it seems to me that the success of LEADER in rural development may suggest possibilities elsewhere, and I'm encouraged that others may take this analysis further. In conclusion, I feel confident that LEADER, previously the teenager of rural development policy, is going to make us proud as it settles into adult life. It will still need support at the central level, and that support must be not too distant, but not too close either. I think we've got the approach about right, and I look forward to seeing this confirmed over the next few years. This is Marianne Fischer-Boel speaking to you. Thank you. She is a great commissioner. She is really a great commissioner.